you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. In Season 2 of Hacks and Hobbies, we're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. We want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, we get to speak with Jodi Krangle, podcast host at Audio Branding, the hidden gem of marketing. She also voiced national and international commercial campaigns for companies like Bissell, Kraft, Capri Sun, and Visit Orlando, narrated documentaries, corporate and web explainer videos for Fortune 500 companies, and have been the narration voice for shows on both Slice Network in Canada and HGTV in the US. Knowing a little bit about how she began her journey is by singing with her mom and dad before bedtime. Let's go further about knowing her more and how she'd become a professional voiceover actor. So Jodi, how are you doing? This is I'm out of my zone right now. It's so early.
You're the one who wanted it at this time.
I know, I was thinking that, okay, I have this job, and if I can do early in the morning or late in the evening, at least I still have time in the middle, so I'm not, disrupting work. And I forgot the timings I had to set up. But what's cool is, and I didn't know, and I set the timings before COVID, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah, little did we know we'd be doing a lot of sleeping.
Oh, man, I wish I still got a lot more sleep. But, the month of Ramadan just started, so we've been fasting. I got up at 4 a.m. just to eat so I can start my fast. And everybody in the house was awake too. So we put everybody to sleep, and my daughter still woke up. I'm like, why can't you sleep a little bit more?
Oh, no.
But she's
I
got a
have
routine.
to ask you also, because I wonder, like, if you're fasting, then, like, how do you deal with this whole staying at home and, like, your fridge just kind of like screaming at you 24/7. I don't know about you, but like I have been in the kitchen more often.
Really?
It's insane. I think it's part of the boredom.
Yeah, no, you're right. A lot of people have been telling me that. My brother-in-law, who was also working from home, he's like, I've gained a lot of weight. I'm like, really?
Well, you forget because we're not wearing our jeans.
Yes, I guess so. You're wearing pajamas.
I'm wearing like yoga pants a lot, right?
Yeah,
so they're very stretchy.
Oh my God, that's so funny. No, I've been wearing jeans, and I get up and I was like, I have to wear jeans because I'm not wearing pants. So I didn't grow up in the U.S. per se. I kind of have been here for 25 years.
Yeah.
But I've always, gotten up and worn jeans or worn pants. I'm not a fan of like the exercise pants, or not exercise, but sweatpants.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
I'm
word.
not a big fan of sweatpants either,
Like,
but a good pair of
Ukrainian
yoga
sweater.
pants, gotta
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
very comfy. I've been working from home for a long time.
Yeah. No, I get it. So Jodi, tell us a little bit about yourself. We met through spotaguest.com. It's a really cool service that Mark Shaw started, and I've met a lot of cool people like yourself through there. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you out here to the world? I don't even know
The
what
world
my
of
question-
podcasting?
Yeah, the world of podcasting. What got you into this, and something to get us kicked off.
Sure. I am actually a voice actor, and I've been a voice actor since 2007, so it's coming into my 13th year.
Wow, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and I really love it. And part of what I love about it is that I get to kind of help people with the way that they sound, the way that their brand sounds. So I
Mhm.
started my own podcast last year called Audio Branding, which sort of takes that concept and extrapolates from it and
Mhm.
asks, scientists and musicians and advertising marketing people and, how all of these things sort of fit together. And it's really been a lot of fascinating discussions. I've learned a lot more than I thought that I that I would learn. And my mind has regularly been blown by some of my interviews,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm just learning a ton. I've been a singer all my life too, so
Mm.
sound is kind of where I live. It's just it's not only what I do; it's kind of who I am. So. Um,
Yeah.
so I just for me, it made total sense to make a podcast about it because it's something I'm really passionate about.
That's really, really cool. I mean, so I like that you started voice acting, and um, that lends you into audio branding, or creating a podcast around audio, around sound.
Mhm.
Because as a filmmaker, or a video production hobbyist, I've heard that if your sound sucks, it doesn't matter how good of video you have,
Mhm.
it's gonna suck. If your
Yeah.
sound is crappy, because that's what that brings the ambiance, that brings the story to mind, like when you're watching. So
Mhm.
and I can go as far as the Charlie Chaplin days. There's no talking, but the music track on those
Yeah.
fast motion pictures is what sets the tone.
Yeah,
If
it
you
totally
have,
does.
yeah, and so you're absolutely right. Audio is a um, huge, what's that word?
It's a good question. It's too
I know
early.
it's too early. Um,
Yeah.
it's the thing that makes get you in the tone, get you in the mode. And there's even commercials, or trailers. They use specific sounds, specific music
Mhm.
to get that emotion out from you. And it's like, holy smokes, where did that come from? I didn't
Yeah.
expect to cry from that trailer.
Yeah, so true. I actually interviewed a fellow named John McClane,
Mm,
who is a production studio owner in Vegas,
mm,
and he does a whole bunch of stuff with production,
yeah.
sound production. So he also teaches a course at UNLV
Mm,
for music for film. And part of what he teaches people is how much you can influence people's emotions with the sounds that they're hearing.
yeah.
And so, like, he showed me a couple of videos that he sends to his students and
Mm,
shows to them. One of them was for the movie Christopher Robin. I don't know
mm.
if you remember that. It's several years old now. But,
I think I've seen it, or
yeah,
I started to see it.
yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
basically it's about Winnie the Pooh coming to
Mm-hmm.
life in, like, reality, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For this guy, I mean, for Christopher Robin. And so he showed that trailer, the original one that came with the movie, and then he showed one where someone had manipulated the scenes and the music to make it look like a horror film. And you'd be amazed. It's the same movie, but they moved it around. They made it like sepia toned. They, like
Yeah.
they had really ominous music underneath it and like it so worked as a horror.
Oh my God.
So that's just by changing the sounds, really. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you change the picture, but it's the same movie.
Same movie. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sound is so powerful. And if you if you've seen this new TV show called um C. My daughter is here. She wants her music to be played. So she called my name all over from upstairs. Like, she comes open the door. She's like, "Can you play my music?" And she's like 2 years old, right?
She knows what she wants. She sounds
wants.
adorable.
Yeah, thank you. So talking about sounding adorable, and so the show I was trying to get to before, trying to calm my brain down because it's trying to process my daughter saying stuff.
We're all sent in a lot of different directions these days.
I know, it's amazing. So this TV show is called it's on Apple TV, Apple TV Plus, and it's called C. And in it, it's somewhere set in the future, and the human race has lost the ability to see, so they're dependent on sound.
Oh, okay.
And it's so powerful because, like, they're all they're all actors that know how to see, but they're pretending to be blind, and they've done a really amazing job.
Yeah.
And now there's a new set of kids that are born that can actually see, and they're like, no, that's a witch, or that's a child of a witch, because now they can see. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting, and the way the cinematography of it all. And there's this whole race, they just depend on sound, and when they're fighting, because there's fights too, right? There's brawls between two different tribes, and what they're doing is just amazing. So now you want Twinkle Twinkle? Okay. She wants Twinkle Twinkle Little Star now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, where's your song? All right, I'm going to put your song on, and I'm going to put it on repeat. Okay, bye.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so that was, that's...
We're all at home, so...
We're all home, exactly.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to experience every day. And what's funny is a lot of our late night hosts are, leaning into all of this.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Fallon, he has his kids do all the titles. His wife is recording the video, and he's including all these people. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to let it happen.
No, there's no point. And it just makes it more real.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we were not quite as aware of how put on so much of what we see is.
Oh, my God. Seriously. So, yeah, sound plays such a huge role. And
it sounds like a great show. I can't see it. I don't have Apple TV, but but it sounds like a great show.
You don't need an Apple TV. You just need an Apple device.
I have very few things of Apple in this house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not, it's just kind of, it just sort of, it evolved that way. I used to sell computers when the 386 SX was new.
Oh, man.
Like
I used one of those back in the days. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know the hardware, and I've known PC since DOS. So
Me too.
I'm familiar. Yeah. So I'm just familiar with it, and
Yeah.
it's just the easiest thing for me to use. I know it's quirky, but so is Apple. They're all quirky. I have an iPad here. I do have an iPad here, but that's the limit of my Apple products.
Well, here's what's funny with Apple TV. We recently got a Samsung television, and it's got an Apple TV app, so you can watch all those Apple TV shows.
Yep.
So I
have a Samsung phone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about PC, talking about sound. I've been a PC advocate for the longest time, right? So I would assemble computers, I would sell them, talk about them, and I was the biggest Windows versus PC Mac guy, right? And then everything changed when when Apple decided to start using Intel processors.
How long ago was that now?
That was 2005.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So when that happened, I was like, okay, some changes are happening here. Let me see. So I built my first Hackintosh where I put together hardware
Okay.
from
Yeah.
PC and put Mac OS on it,
Great.
and it was fun for at least past 10 years. I've had an Hackintosh running on the PC
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
PC, and just because I just wanted to try it out, I'm like, why not? I'm a hacker. Not like a hack,
Like a
trying different
builder.
things, like a builder,
Yeah.
exactly. So why
Okay.
not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that was fun.
Yeah. It sounds cool. I don't have anything against Mac per
Mm-hmm.
se. It's not really that I have a problem with it or
Yeah.
anything. I get a little annoyed when anyone who's in the audio field tells
Mm-hmm.
me that if I want to get, better audio, or if I want to have a more stable machine, I need to go Mac.
Yeah, I
And
don't know about that.
every time they say that, yeah.
It's like you
What
have your
was
facts right
Yeah,
wrong.
what was the latest update or something that stopped Audacity stopped working with it? Like
Yeah, the Catalina, I think.
yeah, Catalina. Yeah. I'm
Maybe,
like
and
Mac
I'm
is not
wondering.
immune to this.
No, and I think the reason for it, reason for that is they're forcing 64-bit applications on the Mac now.
Mhm.
So if your application is not running, it's not built on 64-bit code, because they've had the ability for the past 5 years. Like,
Mhm.
hey, go build 64 code, and if so, I'm guessing that's it, because I haven't used Audacity. I do not like the interface. I'm
Oh
a
yeah, no, I
UX,
agree.
right?
Yeah.
So being a UX person, I'm very particular on the software I'll use. Like, I'll use
Sure.
Audition all day long because
That's what
it's
I'm recording you in right now.
yeah, yeah,
Well, no, I'm recording me in
you
that.
in, right?
I'm recording me in that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Adobe Audition is my DAW of choice,
yeah,
but
it is so powerful.
it's really powerful, and it multi-tracks too, which I really love
Mm-hmm.
because I do some singing tracks for some friends of mine too. So that's always nice to have the ability to do that. Audacity is really clunky that way.
Yeah, Audacity is not fun, and
No.
I have my daughter back, and this is not a pretty picture at all
Oh.
because she needs a diaper change,
Uh-oh.
right? And so she comes to my room, and she's got her pants to her knees, and she's like,
No.
"Here, look what I found in my diaper," in her hand. I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
yes.
Okay. Do you need to pause?
Yeah, I'm gonna pause.
Okay. I'm going to hit the pause button myself.
All
How
right,
about
good.
that?
So we're back from our commercial break.
Yes, we are.
Back to Jodi Krangle. So how do you say your last name?
It's Krangle. Yeah.
Krangle. Okay, yes.
I know a lot of people will automatically spell it as Kringle, but
Mm-hmm.
no.
Nice. So
Yeah.
Jodi, so we talked about a little bit about you and how you got into podcasting,
hmm
but how did you get into voice acting? So
That
where's
is a
that journey come
very
from?
good question.
Mhm.
um, I always have liked using my voice in general,
Mhm.
and when I was when I was 11, I would call into a radio show, a radio talk show
Mhm.
called CKEY here in Toronto,
Mhm.
and I would chat with the radio DJ. He would ask questions, and then and I thought my parents didn't know, and I'd try recording myself on my boombox with a tape.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good.
And I'm 11. I had
Mhm.
lots of important things to say.
Mhm. Absolutely. I know. I have a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I'm sure you know. But yeah, so the thrill for me was actually hearing my voice on the air. It was just really, really cool. I never particularly wanted to be a DJ. That was never really my goal.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of other people hearing it was very cool to me. And I mean, I was raised with music.
can't
My
switch
parents
back and
both
forth.
were musicians. My dad played guitar and my mom sang, and our story time was really sing-along time when we were
Yeah.
kids. But as I went on and did other things, I sort of forgot about that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into technology. I did a lot of stuff with computers and making computers, the hardware, and
Mm-hmm.
selling computers, and then
Yeah.
selling a bit of software, and um, going to university. And I ended up with an English degree. Yeah,
Like
you
I've had
laugh.
enough with technology. Let me just
Yeah,
learning
yeah.
English.
Yeah, it's actually really funny because I was originally trying to get a psychology degree,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm horrible at math, like really just really horrible at math. And I walked into a stats course, and of course you had to have stats in order
Yes.
to be able to do psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he was speaking English. I know that the words that were coming out of his mouth were English, but they made no sequence of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no idea what he was talking about. And when I walked out of that class, I was like, well, I guess psychology's not on the docket anymore. I guess that's the end of that one.
Wow.
So moving right along, all through my university, I was doing other things. So I had to, have a job and do things. And one of the things I was doing was selling computers. And in 95, 96, I started volunteering for the CNIB, which is the Canadian National Institute for the Blind.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading books on tape. Really what it was reading magazine articles and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we were using reel-to-reel tapes at the time.
Oh wow.
And because of my love of technology, I actually really enjoyed the reel-to-reel tapes, almost more than I enjoyed the speaking.
Because you see the motion, right? And it's
Mhm.
like mesmerizing.
It was fascinating. Yes.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it a lot. And I only did that for around a year, but I think that was when I first realized that voiceover was a thing.
Mm.
And I mean, I still kept doing the technology stuff. I was doing internet marketing and SEO from like 95 until 2007,
Wow.
basically.
Nice.
And I just got so bored in 2007. I was just done because Google was the only game in town by that time.
That's right.
Like there used to be a whole lot of different search engines. There was
Mhm.
ways to, figure out what you could do to not game the system, but to be
Yeah.
better placed. Like
Yeah.
there were algorithms. It was kind of a mixture of trends and art.
Yes.
It was really interesting. But when Google became the only game in town and all you could do is create content, that made the game quite different.
It did. Yeah.
And I just got bored. I just couldn't do it anymore. I don't know
Mhm.
if you've ever had these moments in your life, but I've had a few of them.
I've had them, yes.
And one of them is that you just get so tired of something that you
Mhm.
cannot do it for another second.
Yeah.
That it's that figurative lean against the door after you've closed it and go, oh.
God, that
You
door
know?
is done. Yep.
Yeah, I've
Oh
had a
yeah.
few moments like that in my
Mhm.
life, and that was one of them. So the switch kind of happened there, and because I love technology and have always loved the internet,
Mhm.
I went online to find what I needed, and found some very kind people on a message board because message
Mhm.
boards still existed at that time.
They still do.
I know they still do, but they're rare. They are still very rare.
That's true. It's true.
But I was lucky enough to meet some very kind people who helped me figure out the lay of the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're constantly improving. I'm always updating demos. I'm always getting coaching.
Mhm.
I'm always updating my website. And the podcast is just kind of another extension of that improvement.
No, that's really inspiring because, and when you say, you've had those moments where you're just tired of one thing and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
can I be over it? And that's why this show is called Hacks and Hobbies, because I have 100 different hobbies. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm done with this one. Let me try this out. And
They call it multi-passionate.
yes, so I'm very multi-passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And at work, every week I would talk about something totally brand new. And so they started making fun of me. They're like, "Oh, so what's your new hobby this week?" I'm like, "You know what? I'm going to go start beekeeping." And from that, they're like, you should do a podcast around beekeeping. I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm going to do that too." So podcasting became a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been wanting to do podcasting since like 2012, or we actually started a podcast in 2012
Mm-hmm.
called Still Brewing It, because we talk about these ideas between my cousins and I, and we were
Mm-hmm.
like, we need to record this. And we were following all this journey around Apple products and about PC products. And we're like, we want to talk about technology. And since very, time ago, long time, I've been doing blogs as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
blogging and so it's been really interesting. And what I find fascinating is the parallels between what you've been doing and what I've been doing, because you went into like, all right, I'm done with this stuff. Let me go see what I can do next.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say, message boards, I was like, yes, I've been hanging out in message boards, talking to people. You don't know their names. You just
Yeah.
know what they're passionate about. And you get that kind of a community, and you start learning from them, and you start teaching them. So it's been about the same for me. But what I really liked is, you leaned into that voice thing, and you loved, because you've had some experience, and that's something that you did in when you were much younger.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really interesting is, if you look at anybody and ask them what they did when they were between 10 and 13, that's something that they are super passionate about, because if they were
It's so
doing
true,
that
yeah.
right now,
Mm-hmm.
they would be making bank.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things I don't necessarily feel that people should always be like following their bliss, because who knows what that is, right? And it changes
Yes,
from day to day.
it
It changes
does.
from year to year.
Yeah.
But the things that you were passionate about when you were, like you said, 10 to 13 years old,
Mm-hmm.
um, those things tend to stick with you.
Yeah.
And when they do, and when you can find some kind of way to make that into a like a career that actually pays,
Yes,
I mean, that's magic.
it is.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And because you have such a passion for it, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like you're, like I'm one of those strange people, I guess, maybe who like will work on a weekend if
Yeah.
someone asks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with that.
Oh.
Generally, I will, I have a life. We all have lives.
Mm-hmm.
But I love what I do so much that I'll do
Exactly.
it whenever.
It doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the same way. I will get on my computer any time of the day and start working at whatever I left off at the project that I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd get this question from my wife, like, why are you working? It's a weekend. Like, well,
Yeah.
it
Doesn't
just
feel like work to
doesn't
me.
feel like work to me. That's what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in the background, you might hear some music, like the wheels on the bus go
I
round
am
and
hearing
round.
music. Yeah.
And Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or Where
Uh-huh.
is Stumpkin? And my daughter keeps coming in and asking. She's like, I'm the DJ for her. Like, play me this song, DJ.
Oh boy.
So my only fan, what music would you like to play now? Okay, she's quiet. All right, go play
Oh.
your music.
I was waiting for her to say something.
I know, me too. So, what do you want? Where's Stumpkin? All right, worst time coming right up. There you go. Have to wait for the song to finish. All right. I wish these songs were much longer, dude. They're like minute and a half long. Come on, guys.
Oh no, you gotta loop it.
I know, but the loops doesn't work. I mean, it's only good enough because there's only so many lyrics.
Yeah.
But if there's more, if even if it's like a 5-minute song where Stumpkin, he's going out to town and like there's more verses to it, I think that would be something.
Yeah. I think every parent would appreciate it.
Right? Like Baby Shark is like a 1-minute song.
Oh my God.
Right? And they have a faster version too. I'm like, how does that help anybody?
That is a very good point.
Can you do a slower version? I mean, just because kids have
do the Papa Shark version.
Right? Just because kids have a short attention span doesn't mean that your songs have to be short too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can have short songs within a long song. I don't know. Maybe somebody can come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's been pretty crazy. You lean into what you love, and it comes back, and a lot of people like it's just crazy. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, there's so many examples that are popping in my head, like Tim Ferriss, Pat Flynn, all these people. They thought that one thing that they wanted to do was the one thing that's gonna make it happen, but they realized that it's not that. I mean,
I think it depends on what you mean by make it happen.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, everyone has their different version of success.
Yes.
My version of success is that I'm getting paid very nicely to do something I love to do, and I still have time freedom.
Exactly. I think
So I'm
freedom.
not. Yeah, it's a different kind of freedom, like I enjoy it though. I like being able to, just go and watch a Netflix show every once in a while, just not have to do anything.
Yeah.
Let my mind relax,
Exactly.
especially now. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
especially
and we're
now.
all cooped up.
It's been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about what I meant by make it happen is, for example, Pat Flynn, he went to school for architecture, and he was working for this nice architecture company, and he's like, okay, I want to be a LEED certified architect. And the company's like, absolutely, go for it. He comes back 2 years later. He took him 2 years to finish and pass.
Sure.
And they're like, oh, we weren't we weren't sure that you were gonna pass it because it's 30% success rate. But now that you are LEED certified, we can't keep you anymore because we can't pay you the amount.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so they let him go. And he's like, oh, great.
Nice.
Right,
Wow.
so that's his story, and he got laid off like 2008. And he's like, this is the worst time to get laid off, and
oh my goodness,
and so he's like, okay.
Well, I was just starting in my business in
Yeah.
like 2007, 2008. Like
Right.
it was,
It's crazy.
yeah. I was lucky that was when I was sort of ramping up the business as opposed to like having already been in it for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So what he was able to do is what he was doing, what the smart thing he was doing, he's like, all right, I'm reading all these books. If there's a ton of data that I need to remember, so let me put it on the website. So he created a WordPress site, and he just basically started storing all of his notes there. He realized when he came back after, he got let go, he looked and he's like, oh my God, all these people are commenting from all the notes that I took. So then he went to a meeting, or he went to a meetup where people talked about blogs and how to monetize from it, blah, blah, blah. And he just sat quietly in this meeting, and everybody's like, oh, you got to have this page number, you got to have this page views, blah, blah, blah. And he was like sitting quietly listening to everyone. So then they're like, so what kind of views are you getting? He's like, about 1,000. and they're like, "Oh, 1,000 per month." I'm like, no, 1,000 per day.
Huh?
Everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god, let's take a look at your website. We're all
Yeah.
boring over here."
Yeah.
So that's where he leaned into, like, oh, content creation,
Mm-hmm.
and he just, he's basically made a business, and now he's been doing it for, for 12 plus years or whatever, and he's got a successful podcast. He called it Smart Passive Income,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the talk of the town. He's out going out there doing crazy things, and the new crazy thing that he's did because of COVID-19, he's been going live on YouTube every single day at the same time, building an audience.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, holy smoke. So I learned so much from this guy. It's
Mm-hmm.
mind-blowing.
There's a lot to learn. And,
Yeah,
and the people who are teaching it are the people who found it by trial and error.
exactly. Exactly. And that's what's so powerful, because right now he says that it's a level playing field
Mm-hmm.
between, so you look at his quality production of his live studio, of his live talks, and then you look at the stuff that daylight the daytime or the hosts, right? So they're recording using their smartphones,
Mm-hmm.
the lighting and all that's like, everybody's in the same feel, like, they're playing in our pool now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been very enlightening.
Yes, it has. And like, wow, there's so much dependence on others' expertise for these
Mm-hmm.
shows. And one interview that I saw was, there's a tool called frame.io that
Mm-hmm.
enables you to um, share content or share videos through different platforms. So you
Mm-hmm.
can be recording in one space and then upload stuff to you're using their platform, and somebody else can go and edit and whatnot.
Oh,
So
okay.
they've been
Yeah.
using that. NBC Studios have been using that for this was Conan O'Brien's show.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, Conan is using his smartphone. He records his monologue, and
Mm-hmm.
then he sends it in, and he's doing Zoom calls, and then we record it, and we upload it, and we all are editing it, from our own homes in
Yeah.
our backyard.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes,
You do what
it's
you have to do, right?
yeah. But what's funny is that he's like, now the studios can't tell us that you have to be in the studio to be
Yeah.
doing this anymore.
This is exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've
mhm,
had a home studio for like 10 years now,
yeah,
pretty much.
you gotta have it.
But because I live so close to Toronto, a lot of the Toronto studios are insisting that you have to go downtown
Yeah.
to be at a session, and that's not really necessary.
Not at all. Not at all.
Plus, it's like an hour and a half drive for me through traffic. so, so
Oh
if I
my God.
don't have to do that,
Don't have to do that. And what's
yeah.
funny is that, so when we were visiting Toronto earlier last year,
Hmm.
we were like, "Oh, everybody's in Toronto. We could just meet everybody." Nope. There's so many distances and so much
Yeah.
traffic.
Toronto is really sprawling, and there's lots of outlying areas, and they're all fairly far away from each other.
Yeah, so many distances, and the
Hmm.
traffic is insane. You just sit in
It's crazy.
traffic. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
Not now.
Not anymore. Not
Not right at the
anymore.
moment. Yeah. We're all sheltering in place, and it's pretty quiet out there. Quite
Oh
enough that
man.
the coyotes and deer are coming out to play on a
Oh
regular
wow.
basis. Yeah.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're mostly doing that in the cemeteries. There are ravines that are attached to a lot of the areas of the city.
Yeah.
So you'll have little pockets of green, and those pockets of green,
Yeah.
they're starting to, the wildlife is starting to come out.
That's just amazing.
I mean, it's happening everywhere.
It
I
is.
think I saw,
I believe it.
yeah, I think I saw a picture of lions sleeping on the road in South Africa.
Wow.
On the road.
Wow, that's so cool. And talking about lions, somebody had posted a video of a picture where um I don't know where, but they unleashed the lions on their streets so people stay home.
Oh my God. Okay.
But that was a hoax. That was a hoax. Like, ain't nobody got lions to go on the street just so you
Yeah.
can stay home. That's not
Yeah.
happening. That's
No.
CG. So we
Wow.
talked about your journey. We talked about, your beginnings of how you got into audio, how you got into voice acting and
Hmm.
the passion around sound. And so that also tells us, some of the motivations that you have. So tell me, on a day-to-day basis, what does your day look like?
What does my day look like? That's a good question. I'm usually up around 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like waking up at that point, but almost the first thing I do is like stumble over to my computer.
Who's on? Who's on?
Yeah, it's pretty it's an addiction. um That'll usually tell me what my day is going to look like. Most of what I do is 5 minutes of finished audio or less. So
Mm-hmm.
if something is waiting for me or if there's a session scheduled where I have to be live directed, I know when that's happening. It's on my schedule.
Yeah.
And often throughout the day, I'll just get emails from clients needing something, and I'll get it to them usually within the hour.
Wow.
That's the advantage of doing the shorter projects, in that I can get them their stuff really fast. That's
Nice.
kind of what I've billed myself as. The fast turnaround is part of my service, because advertising and marketing just it goes so fast.
Yes. Yes.
um, Even now, you'd
Even
be
now,
surprised.
exactly
Yeah.
that makes sense because advertising does not wait for COVID.
No, 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 no. And in fact, a lot of the stuff, my industries have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be doing a lot of hospitality and tourism and casino work and,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And it's kind of, I'll do like COVID-19 messages for these people, but right
Yeah.
now they're really not doing a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And so most of what's taking up my time now is financial industry, insurance industry,
Yeah.
healthcare, all grocery stores, like
Mm-hmm.
food stuff,
Yeah.
because people are still eating.
They're still eating. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh my God. Exactly. Yeah. Pretty constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so the industries have just changed, but they're still there.
Yeah.
There's still work.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
always,
lucky.
yeah, that's just so fascinating because voiceover is something that I was always fascinated by as well. And I took on some jobs and, sent in my samples. But again, you got to have a presence, you got to have some sort of experience to be able to land those jobs, right?
Well, I think the difference between someone who's playing at it and someone who is actually making a living at it is
Mm-hmm.
that the person who's making a living at it has gotten past their own head.
Oh,
They've gotten out of their own head. So when you're hired for a job, you're hired to be you, right?
that's
They're not
interesting.
paying me to be someone else. If they wanted someone else, they'd hire that someone else,
So it's the
right?
personality that you're buying.
Well, yeah, yes, but also it's getting past the unnaturalness of the environment that you're recording in to be in your own, to be in theater of the mind while you're imagining having a discussion with
Yeah.
someone, right? So I'm talking to you right now
Yeah. As yourself.
inside a padded booth with a microphone in my face and
Yeah.
headphones on my head, right?
Yeah.
Staring at a padded wall. So, and a screen, right?
Yeah.
So that is a very unnatural environment.
It is.
If I had
Yeah.
a script in front of me and someone said, sound natural, well, how hard is that going to be? It's actually pretty hard. That's where the acting comes in. So it's not just learning how to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it really has nothing to do with the tone or timbre of your voice. It really doesn't. It's all in how you're saying what you're saying. Do you connect with what you're speaking?
Mm-hmm.
Do people listening to you believe what you're saying?
They've got to believe.
They have to believe, yeah.
And the
So
people that are
it's-
paying the money has to believe.
Exactly, yes. So a lot of it is the training that you need to get out of your own head, to have that conversation in an unnatural environment and not let it phase you.
Yeah. That's
And just be
really
you.
powerful. And I'm kicking myself because it took us 44 minutes to just wake up.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
I was like, I should have talked about all of that. Like, but we could do another episode on that one.
There's a
but
lot to talk about.
There's a ton to talk about. And especially when you have a kid coming right in the middle requesting different songs. So now I'm being a podcaster and a DJ at the same time.
Yes.
And talking about the state of
Multi-passionate.
yeah, and talking about the state of kids' music and why it couldn't be longer than 2 minutes or minute and a half.
Well, yeah.
VeggieTales actually
Baby
has
Shark.
Sorry?
And the merits of Baby Shark.
Yes, exactly. I do have some quick, short questions towards the end, so we're just going to go quick.
Sure.
And let's see what we get.
Okay.
What is one hobby that you wish you got into? And that's a stupid question because that's all we've been talking about.
You know what? I think I might have mentioned this before, but I always wish that I could draw. I have absolutely not a craft bone in my body. Like I can't make things. I can't like bead. I can't needlepoint. I can't I'm just awful at it. I think in home ec when I tried to make like a stuffed animal, I missed the underbody and it ended up looking like a puppy, ended up looking like a three-legged spider. Like it was just I'm really pathetic that way. So
man.
Visual arts of any kind, I wish I had some talent for that because I so admire people who do.
Wow. That's really fascinating to hear that, being a voice artist and you don't have other talents. Well, you can only be good at one, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you focus on what you like to do, and then, it's all the hours that you put into it. So I love what I do, and
Exactly.
and I'm really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, that means that some other things have gone by the wayside.
Yeah. Perfectly fine. All right, next question. What did you want to be when you were a child?
What did I want to be? I actually, I think I wanted to dig up dinosaur bones. I think I did that. I wanted to do that for quite some time. And, even back then, I was like, how much math is involved in that?
Yeah.
I think I might have been like, I don't know, 10.
Wow.
Like before that, it's like I want to be a fire engine.
Wanted to be a fire
I don't know
engine.
what else are you going to say, right?
Nice, exactly. I wish I was a
Fairy
fire
tale
engine.
princess.
Yeah. You've got a lot of options over here. Just
I
like,
do
ding,
have
ding,
a
ding,
ton
ding.
of options.
Awesome. All right, next question. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, I don't really have one, honestly. This is going to sound really strange. I have absolutely no ties to the military. I am here in Canada, and yet one of my favorite shows for years has been NCIS. I don't know why.
Nice.
I don't know what the fascination is. It's like a police procedural with just a little bit more to it.
Nice.
I loved that stuff. I loved Bones.
Yeah,
Do you remember Bones?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my God, The Mandalorian. Oh,
Mandalorian was so good.
that was
good.
so amazing.
Yeah.
So, my tastes are really kind of all over the place, but I tend to like the police procedurals. I tend to like science fiction fantasy. And I say tend because I think I watched the first season of Game of Thrones and was like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was done. I didn't need any more. And I got enough from social media. I didn't actually need to watch it.
No, it's really good. I mean, it had a pretty good ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's done
Yeah,
well.
I mean, I've heard good things. It's just,
Yeah,
I,
it's not
I
sci-fi. I love
no,
sci-fi. I love
it's,
sci-fi.
but it's, yeah, I guess it's fantasy, so it kind of like, yeah, but it was just like I like fantasy that has some hope to it. I mean,
Nicely played, Miss. Nicely played. So, next question would be, what movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
oh my goodness. Do you remember the movie The Last Starfighter?
I do.
Okay.
I
I
recently.
so wanted to be that guy. I so wanted to be that guy. Like,
Oh,
take me. I'll be a fighter pilot. How
yeah.
cool.
Oh my God, that was a really really good movie. Nice,
That was
nicely
an
done.
awesome movie.
Yeah,
And it got so little like fanfare.
it did. It
I
did.
think it's only gotten now.
Need to bring it back.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, I have to say Wonder Woman.
Oh yes,
I
she is
do.
badass.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I've followed Wonder Woman from very early on.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, the comics go
The
back to the
comics way
40s.
back, exactly.
But yeah, I've been a fan for a long, long time. And that's really what sort of got me Wonder Woman and Superman. I mean,
Yeah.
those are the classics
Those are
that
the classics.
they got me into the comic books. Yeah.
But the last question is a good one.
Hmm.
If you were a board game, what would it be?
If I was a board game. that Candyland.
I do not know of the Candyland board game, but I'll have to check it out.
It's playful and fun, but you can still get down to business.
Nice. Very cool. I like it. So Jodi, where can my audience find you?
I am at voiceoversandvocals.com, and it's voiceovers, plural.
Okay, perfect.
And my podcast is at audiobrandingpodcast.com. So pretty simple.
Fantastic. Very simple, very,
Mhm.
very clean. Thank you so much, Jodi, for your
Thank you.
time. We're going to have to do a part 2 on all of this conversation, especially because of our similar backgrounds
Oh,
into
yeah.
the different things. I mean, that's been very fascinating, and thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much for having me on here. It's great.
Thank you for listening to Hacks and Hobbies. You can find additional information on the guest today on their website, hacksandhobbies.com. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on upcoming interviews with amazing guests.